Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Nation's Pastime in the nation's capital. I'm your host, Andrew Snaith, here with my co-hosts, Robbie Cruz and James Higgins. And guys, the two best words in sports.
Game 7!
Here we are. Game 7 between the Washington Nationals and the Houston Astros about to start here momentarily. We will be covering the game entirely throughout the hour that we are on air here tonight. And you know what? I think it's going to be an absolutely insane game if this series has shown us anything so far.
You know what? I have made many bets throughout this season, throughout the postseason included, and none of them have gone my way whatsoever, folks. But you know what? I made a bet tonight, and I'm going to win this one. I bet a certain somebody out there that the Astros are going to win this series, and the loser has to buy the other person lunch. But it's $40 worth of lunch, and I'm not losing this one today because I know I'm not paying $40. Listen, we're all broke college students, and I am not paying $40. I'm too cheap to do that. Astros are going to win. Zach Greinke is going to have the guts to step up and have a monster game. I'm talking about 6 2/3 with only 1 run, 4 hits, and 8 strikeouts. Max Scherzer, I'm incredibly concerned about him. That back, neck, shoulder issue, not a good look for him, and I think that's going to bite him in his tail end.
Well, considering Robbie's recent purchase history, are we sure his takes are exactly flaming hot?
I would say they're not necessarily hot, given the purchase history of Robbie Cruz.
Oh, yeah, the same guy who predicted Bryce Harper to the Philadelphia Phillies? Oh, yeah, that same guy, the guy with awful takes whatsoever. The guy who predicted that the DJ LeMahieu signing would be one of the best of the offseason? Yeah, that gay's got some awful, horrendous takes.
Yeah, Robbie, I do have a quick question, though. Is this the Yankees' year?
Hey, Andrew, I have a quick question. Are the Phillies going to finish first in the NL East like you predicted? Is Bryce Harper going to win MVP like you predicted? Is Aaron Nola going to win the Cy Young Award like you predicted?
I didn't predict that. I did not predict that.
Is David Robertson going to be one of the most consistent and best relievers out in the market? Because that's another thing that you said.
All right.
And when I said that was wrong. Oh, by the way, no, let's carry on.
You gonna say that one? All right. Well, with that,
I think the biggest key going into tonight for each team, I think for the Nationals, it's definitely how many innings can Scherzer give you?
Correct.
Because he got a cortisone yesterday. You know he's going to be on whatever he needs to be on today to be ready for this game. And if you're the Nationals, you obviously have Corbin available. Strasburg, I think, will be available whether Davey admitted to it before the game or not. He's going to be available for his Randy Johnson moment to come out for an inning and potentially go 3-0 in a World Series and route to World Series MVP, because if they win this series, Strasburg should win World Series MVP. He's a postseason legend. He's one of the greatest postseason pitchers of this decade. This is what the Nationals envisioned when they drafted him number 1 overall in 2009, and he's delivered to he's finally living up to those godlike expectations that we've talked about. And then for Houston, it's how long can Greinke give you? When will Garrett Cole come into this game, and for how long will he come in? Because you know he's coming into this game at some point. He's on 2 days rest. He's the best pitcher in baseball besides Strasburg right now. So you know that Cole is coming into this game to potentially have his Randy Johnson moment as well. So I think for both teams, the question is when and how long will their aces come into this game and give them length in the bullpen, and then whoever has the lead, can they hold it late? I mean, that's the biggest key. How long can your starters go, and how long can your aces come in and hold the game down until you can get it to your closer? I think that's the biggest key for each team, because obviously, you want to say starting off like both teams in these games have started off fast and the pitchers have settled in. So I really think it's how long can Scherzer give you tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And, just with that out of the way, and before we get underway with the game here, which as it starts momentarily, if anyone wants to call and discuss during the game anything that's going on, we're going to be keeping you up to date, but I'm sure everyone's watching at home as well. That number, feel free to do it. It's 202-319-5106. That is 202-319-5106. And while you're at it and you're on your phone, go ahead and follow us on Twitter. That's at @PastimeCap. All of our shows are posted there the day after, so you can catch up on any you've missed and have other updates on the show as well. So I want to go back to something that James just said there, and that is about Garrett Cole. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like the first sign of trouble that Zach Greinke gets in tonight, I feel like Garrett Cole's the first one out of the pen.
Well, the thing is, I don't know if it'll be at the first sign, because why would you burn Cole in the second? Let's say Greinke gets into deep trouble early in this game. If I were Hinch, I don't blow Cole early.
Okay.
I wait until later.
So you still wait a little bit,
right? Because why would you use your best pitcher that early? Because then you don't have anyone to go to after him. So you try to bridge the gap with Josh James, or Kide should be available, whoever else, and then try to get Cole for innings 5 through 7 or innings 6 through 8. That's what I would do if I were AJ. And here we go, baby, Game 7. This is what we all live for.
First pitch of Game 7, strike right down the middle by Zach Greinke, and we are underway with Game 7 of the 2017 World Series. I'm sorry,
2019 World
2019
Series.
World Series.
Last
but
baseball game till March 26th. Live it up, folks.
Unfortunately. And you know what? Actually, a fun fact as well, the first ever World Series Game 7 started by 2 former Cy Young Award winners, which is crazy if you think about it. 150 years of Major League Baseball, and this is the first time
Alex Bregman off to a good start. Lyle Spain, you're losing that bet, my boy.
That was a great play by Bregman. We'll line out to the third baseman by Trey Turner. But yeah, absolutely fantastic matchup. I know we've talked about fantastic pitching matchups this entire postseason, and it hasn't really turned out that way. They've been some of the more blowout games that we've seen, so we'll see how this one turns out tonight.
I think last night was pretty good overall.
Oh, no, it was definitely good, and then the bullpen kind of blew up at the
I
end
think
there,
going back to last night, I thought it was a really good game overall. Strasburg had his career-defining moment. Bregman, I don't think he intended to carry the bat all the way down to first base, and he was obviously remorseful after the game. Soto did it to get back at Bregman, was not remorseful. Martinez. Yes, Martinez.
Is that really that big of a big deal?
No,
though?
I don't think it's as big of a deal as people are making it out
I think
to
a lot
be,
of old timers.
I just think
think
Bregman should have dropped it before first.
Yeah.
That's all. But say what you want about Bregman, but he knows he's one of the best players in the game, and he knows he's the best player on the field when he steps on the field. So
Which he is,
it's a cocky confidence, which I like. It's not like a brash, arrogant screw you confidence.
Right. No, that makes sense exactly.
The key for Greinke's going to be to locate. Because the thing is, he was good in Game 3. He wasn't great, but that's all the Astros needed him to be, because he located and he got out of his jams. And he got out of his jams in Game 4 in New York against the Yankees. So that's the biggest thing for Greinke, is that he might not give you length, but when he locates and gets out of jams, that's all that Houston needs tonight to capture their second championship in 3 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're not going to go back to that Yankee series, by the way. Let's go on to the next topic.
No, I'm just talking about Greinke.
I know you're talking about Greinke.
No, they were saying that he had a good start against the
I don't
Yankees.
even want to think about that. It's going to make me cry.
This is not a dig at you. I'm legitimately talking about Zach.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hey, you know what? Speaking.
No, I know.
No. You know
he got roughed up against Tampa. For all the Rays fans out there, enjoy that one.
Yes.
No, but this
all three of
he
you.
gets out of his jams in big games, in big spots. He limits the damage and gets out of his jams.
He always
and the
has,
Astros need to start hitting with runners in scoring position. That's the bottom line.
They haven't done that through the entire postseason. It's been ridiculous. Even going back to the ALCS, where they had.
Let's see if Eaton's in the baseline. He's in the baseline.
You know what?
Going back to that call last night.
I was going to say, yes.
Okay.
We need to discuss
Technically, Turner was out of the runner's box, but he was essentially on the line and he was running in a straight line. Where else do you want him to run? That was terrible. Because the MLB is lucky Rendon hit that home run, because you can't protest a judgment call, and that would have been an absolute mess. If the Nationals lost that game because of that, and I don't know. I think that was a terrible call, and they weren't even reviewing it. That was just the rule being read to them.
Right.
Because technically, was he out of the box? Yeah, but it didn't impede the throw. If the catcher was throwing it, that'd be different, on a play like that. But where else do you want him to run? And I've seen so many guys go further up the line, on the grass, and not get called for it, on bunt plays when they run inside the bag to mess with the catcher. So I just in that spot right there, there's no reason for that rule to be called. It's the least called rule in baseball.
Yeah, how about that mic'd up
and
Trey
Rendon
Turner?
To Bregman and inning over. 1-2-3 first for Zach Greinke.
Fantastic inning. How about that mic'd up moment by Trey Turner,
when he
calling
said
out Joe
protest?
Torre? Yeah.
What'd he say?
No,
I read his lips say he was going to protest. But
he was calling
Torre.
out Joe Torre, saying Joe Torre's right there. Why don't we go, get this going?
Well, you can't protest judgment call. It's even worse. And Torre's interview after the game was god awful.
Oh, it was terrible.
That was god awful.
Terrible.
He tried to cover for the umpires. He tried to cover for himself. He tried to cover for Major League Baseball, but that was terrible. They need to do something about that.
All right, guys. So let's talk about this. Right, that's a blown call right there. That was not very good. And we've had absolutely terrible strike calls this entire postseason.
Oh, okay. Terrible strike calls. I was at Game 5 from my seat down left field line. Those were balls on Victor Robles, balls earlier to Eaton. They were absolutely terrible calls. That was a mess. Because at that point in the game, it was 4-1 Houston and Robles, and the tying run would have come to the plate when Robles walked. You never know what could happen. I'm not saying they would have got a hit off Cole, but he gave up a home run to Soto earlier in the inning. He was clearly losing control. They might have taken Cole out and gone to Presley. You don't know what's going to happen.
Right. But so with that all in mind, I'm going to propose this question now. What are we thinking about the long-determined robot umpires? So you are in favor.
Robots.
That's interesting. All right, before you give your reason,
I'm in favor.
You're in favor.
I'm in
of
favor
robots.
to an earpiece. I still need the humans there, but I'm in favor to an earpiece, and I'm still in favor to have everything else be human, have everything else be reviewable. But you see, as the years have gone on, especially within the last 3 or 4 years, you have seen so many important games be decided by blown calls by umpires that you can't just if you didn't back in the 90s and whatever, you didn't have the technology, so you can't do anything about it. But now you literally have the technology, and there is going to be a way to perfect it. Why can't you do that?
I agree.
Why can't you? At least in the postseason.
It's too important to be able to do that. Robbie, what do you think about it?
I have a rhetorical question, iterating that there is no response back to it. But why wouldn't we want perfect balls and strikes called on us? Why wouldn't we want that? There's no reason whatsoever not to want that. And if you're one of those clowns out there who thinks that you want to see ejections, just get the F out of here because you're wasting your time whatsoever. The fact of the matter is, look, umpires have messed up. They've single-handedly ruined at-bats due to calls. I'm a Yankee fan. I witnessed Brett Gardner get rung up 3 times in that ALCS because of the umpire and on absolutely outrageous calls. So the fact of the matter is, look, there is no reason for not wanting perfect balls and strikes called. And if you want to see ejections, go watch wrestling for all I care. I don't care.
Well, no. So you want full robot? Because like what James was proposing was earpiece. We have an earpiece telling them what's right, but we still have the humans there to make the calls like ejections or make the other calls that only humans can do.
I'm saying when it comes to balls and strikes, I'm saying we want the earpiece. I'm saying there are some people out there who don't want the earpiece because they want to see. They want to be able to see fans.
I think that's just more people, more older people who have been around the game for so long and just feel like that would traditionalists.
Well, I know people who are young and don't want these earpiece umpires.
And that doesn't make sense to me.
It makes no sense to me
because like you said, why would we not want perfect balls and strikes?
And
it makes no sense.
I'm sick and tired of seeing, even as a Yankee fan, and whenever the Yankees get a call on the opposing team, it frustrates me. It frustrates me whenever I see somebody on the opposing team get rung up on a pitch that's absolutely incorrect. It makes no sense.
And you know
whatsoever.
something else that makes it even more prevalent now? Almost every single broadcast, whether it be national or local, has the strike box now, the strike zone there. So we can see if it's a strike or not on the broadcast ourselves. It makes it even more prevalent now that a lot of these calls are being missed. And it would
change a lot up. Imagine a catcher setting up in one location, but then the pitcher tries, like if the catcher tries setting up high and away, but the pitcher's aiming for low and inside, then the hitter would be expecting something high and away, but the pitcher could throw it low and inside, and the pitch could essentially be called a strike. You know what I'm saying? Because you've ever seen, if a catcher gets crossed up, most of the time it's going to be called a ball. But even if a catcher does get crossed up, there's always a chance it could be a strike, which is a good and a bad thing, you know?
That's very fair.
With Springer up right now, this is something that I looked at the numbers last night, and this is totally my thought. And I think George Springer may be a top 4 World Series hitter of all time. He has the second highest World Series slugging percentage of all time. Mm-hmm. He has the record for 5 consecutive World Series games with a home run. I mean, he's legitimately challenging Reggie Jackson, David Ortiz. He might right.
Excuse me, you're missing someone in that company.
Chase Utley.
Chase Utley, yes. The only Phillies hitter who showed up in the 2009 World Series.
Okay, but I'm talking about greatest of all time.
Look at his 2008 stats. Dude.
No, I know, but like when you look at the company of Mr. October and David Ortiz,
he's with all of those in the record books. You realize that the people who have hit 5 home runs in World Series is him, Springer, and Reggie Jackson.
No, I know,
okay,
but I'm talking but Springer, Springer did it in 2017 and in 20. He's shown up in both.
I'm aware. Yeah. But no, yes, that's very fair. It amazes me. Him and Altuve amaze me year after year how clutch they are in the postseason.
Well, Bregman too.
Well, Bregman, but he hasn't been as clutch this postseason.
No, I know, but in this World Series.
In this World Series, he has. But coming up to this, he was abysmal.
But in 18, he was very good. In 17, he was very good.
Yes,
all of them just have great postseason resumes.
Yeah, who was the one who hit the ball that Benintendi caught? Was that Bregman? I don't even remember. That was Bregman. Yeah. And that pretty much decided the series there, am I wrong? I mean,
right.
that was the series.
I think it decided the World Series there, not just the ALCS.
Yes, because the winner that was going to beat the Dodgers, let's be real, Yeah, no, absolutely. So Max Scherzer off to a pretty good start, has 1 out right away. You know what? Let's talk about Scherzer real quick, because Robbie alluded to it in the opening, but I'm under the impression that Max Scherzer may have rushed this a little too much, considering the fact that he couldn't move 2 days ago, and here he is starting World Series Game 7. Do we think that that's going to impact his ability to pitch tonight? Because I would not be surprised if he's pushing it too far and he just kind of blows up or something.
I was one of those people that thought that Max Scherzer did rush back. I didn't think that he was going to be able to pitch for Game 7. However, his first pitch of the game was a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Then he threw that disgusting 88-mile-an-hour slider. There's that 97-mile-an-hour fastball he gets a ground out on. So if he's throwing 97, he's clearly feeling good. So
I think he's got a little bit of adrenaline in the tank there?
I'm going to say that he did not rush back. And you know what? I was wrong when I said that I did not think that Max Scherzer was going to be ready for Game 7.
After 2 outs?
I mean, I wouldn't really say you rush back when this is the final game of the season. It's either you're ready to go or not.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. But when you have a guy like Corbin as well, and maybe just use Scherzer as a reliever,
I think they're just trying to get like four, maybe 5 innings out of Scherzer. I think they'd rather use him at the beginning because think about it, like if he's not on and things get bad real fast, you just go to the bullpen. But if you have Corbin, for 5 or 6, then go to Scherzer and things get bad, who do you go to? You're not just going to burn Doolittle and Hudson right away. That's the problem.
And that's it, honestly. After those,
that's what I'm saying.
Who do you trust in this game besides those four?
So if they know that things get bad with Scherzer, you just go to Corbin and Sanchez for length, and then you piece it with Doolittle and Hudson.
So do we think Steven Strasburg's having that Randy Johnson moment tonight?
Potentially. I mean, I think he should win World Series MVP if they win this series.
Even if he doesn't pitch in tonight's game.
Correct.
Okay,
yes.
I think that's fair.
But I do
he
think
won 2 games in the series, did he not?
Yes, he did. And I think he'll have his Randy Johnson moment tonight, or Garrett Cole. I think one of them has their Randy Johnson moment tonight.
Yeah, I love the response given by Dave Martinez earlier today when they asked him if Steven Strasburg was included in the people available, and he said, you know what? He's got 3 months to rest after tonight, and he just left it at that. I think that's all we need to know.
Well, sorry, sir, go ahead.
So one point that I do want to mention is I think that we can all agree that the likelihood of Garrett Cole leaving the Astros is a lot more likely than Steven Strasburg leaving the Nationals. I think that the Astros already know that Garrett Cole's leaving, and I don't think that they give a rat's tail whether his arm hurts or not, because the Cubs, quite frankly, did not care in 2016 how Aroldis Chapman felt after that World Series.
No.
So I'm going to say that if anybody's going to have their World Series moment, it's going to be Garrett Cole, because he's leaving in free agency. The Astros know it, and honestly, they could care less whether he is hurt or not.
And you know what? Why not? Let Garrett Cole go out with a heroic moment like that. He's remembered forever as a legend in Houston, gets his payday, and everyone's happy, No problem with that.
I don't think Cole wins MVP unless he.
He won't win MVP.
Unless he absolutely shoves.
No, we're just saying that he
unless
comes
he
in.
shoves tonight.
Yeah. And there's a walk by Scherzer, so Brantley's on first now.
With Bregman coming up.
With Bregman coming up.
James, who in that lineup has scared you the most in the series? From the Astros, what Astro hitter has scared you the most in this lineup from the series so far?
Springer overall, but the last 3 nights, Bregman.
Yeah, Bregman's really stepped it up the past couple games. I will give him that.
But Springer's been so consistent this whole series, and he ended the Nationals on Sunday night right in front of me. That was a bomb that he hit. That was a bomb.
Oh, were you near the home run?
I was in left. I was close to the foul pole, and he hit it kind of close to the foul pole. The thing is, say what you want about the Astros, but I love Springer and Bregman. Those are those two guys. Those are 2 guys I've watched, for a long time, ever since they've been coming up. Altuve, I respect Altuve, but I don't love him or hate him. I don't really care for Correa either. He's just there.
He's there.
Yeah, but Springer and Bregman are guys that I think everyone should play the game like them.
Yeah, that's very fair. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, so you know what? Let's look at. I know you said Steven Strasburg. It looks like Bregman's
gonna fly out to end the first.
Okay, how come the Astros can't hit against the Nationals? Where was this against the Yankees? Every time the Yankees threw a fastball, it got crushed.
No, they didn't really hit against the Yankees though. If you look at their numbers, runners in scoring position. No, but I'm just saying
they were even worse than the Yankees.
Yeah. They were bad. They just the problem was that the Yankees didn't get Cole on the ropes. When they had him in Game 3, the bottom of their order didn't do anything either. I know the Nationals aren't hitting as well, but both these teams, when they're hitting, they're just producing in big chunks.
And the difference in this series is that the Nationals got to Cole in Game 1 and the Yankees didn't. That's why we're in 7 games right now. Am I wrong about that? Because you guys got shut down by Cole in Game 1.
That's why next year is the Yankee season, because Garrett Cole won't be on the Astros.
All right. So
he's going to look good in pinstripes.
So speaking of, we've mentioned extensively about Steven Strasburg probably winning MVP if he does come in tonight. Let's assume he doesn't come in tonight and the Nationals do win. I'm going to propose that someone else is their MVP. I'm going to say Juan Soto. Are you kidding me?
I was going to say Juan Soto as well.
This guy's insane.
You know what?
He's absolutely ridiculous.
I'm going to go out and throw a curveball to all you folks out there listening. But instead of Steven Strasburg, I think that the World Series MVP is going to be going to a guy who comes up clutch tonight. And I'm going to say that guy who comes up clutch tonight is going to be the shortstop, Trey Turner. I think he's going to have a clutch 2-run base hit in the 8th inning.
You're being very specific tonight with your predictions.
Yeah, no, but isn't he under 250 in the series?
Yes, he's been very bad.
But he will have the clutch hit, and whoever comes up the most clutch usually wins.
The only reason I will give that argument credibility is because this is the biggest franchise game in Nationals history, and if he's the reason they win it, yes, I can see that.
Turner is hitting 179 in this World Series.
I'm not saying it will happen.
447 OPS. Turner's been phenomenal in the field. He's fun to watch, but he has not been MVP worthy through 6 games.
Hey, random question. In 2015, was Andre Iguodala the best player for the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Final Series?
Actually, yes.
He averaged 9 points a game that series. What?
Defense. Because the problem was is that Thompson and Curry didn't have stellar performances. I know this basketball's for a different day, but Thompson and Curry didn't have like stellar final performances. Steph had a phenomenal Game 5. And he had a good Game 6.
And Andre Iguodala didn't have a terrific Game 7 in that, or Game 6 in that series.
Defense, though. Lockdown defense.
Trey Turner's has had lockdown defense at shortstop, the most important position in baseball, besides catcher.
No, but the thing is that Soto and Strasburg have both shown out in this series.
Like, I don't understand how you can reasonably give it to him over those two.
Oh, I'd give it to Soto. He's been phenomenal in this series. He's done everything. Like, when he hit that home run off Cole, that ballpark went crazy. And I was so happy for him. I was so happy for him.
Obviously, it's probably going to be Juan Soto or Steven Strasburg. I'm just trying to throw a curveball in there, folks. I want to say, hey, maybe it's a guy who comes up with the big hit today, because all it takes is one big hit to change an entire series. You never know.
That is absolutely true. We've seen it multiple times throughout the past couple of years. All it takes is that big hit to change the World Series. We've seen it in 2016, of course, with Rajai Davis off of Aroldis Chapman. We saw it in 2018 with oh, man, I don't even think there was one that changed the World Series. They just kind of dominated the Dodgers. So yeah,
they dominated from opeing day to the World Series and route to a 119 win season in a World Series.
Well, and here's the other thing. So I was actually talking.
Go ahead.
I was actually talking to Robbie about this earlier, and if you're the Astros and you lose tonight, it's kind of, to use your word here, pathetic. Because especially after, and I'm saying this pathetic,
but the Nationals aren't like a bad team.
No, hold on, hear me out here. Because in 2000, I'm saying it's even more pathetic because of what happened in 2018. In 2018, the clear best team in baseball from day one ran over everyone and won the World Series, proving that the best team, yes, that's what I'm saying, the best team can win the World Series. Throughout all the levels, they just dominate everything. The Houston Astros are without a doubt the best team in baseball this year, and they have been the entire year. And I just think it's unexcusable to go, first of all, 7 games against the wild card Nationals. Nothing against Nationals. They've had a fantastic season. And to not be able to close it out, you have to do that.
Well, and I think in 2017 for the Dodgers, they were the best team, but Houston and Cleveland, both in the AL that year, were both very good. They were both juggernauts. And last year, the Red Sox and the Astros, when they faced off in the LCS, you knew that the winner of that series was going to win the World Series because they were by far the 2 best teams.
Exactly.
So, the thing is that this Astros team, after last year's Red Sox team, is probably the best team of this decade.
Yes.
And these two, the 2018 Red Sox and the 2019 Astros, are probably the 2 best teams of the century that we've seen.
So far.
No, that's what I'm saying.
The 2009 Yankees were pretty darn good. I mean, that lineup was...
No, I know.
Robinson Cano was their number 7 hitter.
No, I know, but if you just look in terms of dominance overall, from start to end, overall dominance.
Overall dominance,
I
would agree with that.
I'd give it to the 18 Red Sox and 19 Astros. Soto lines it into right for a base hit. But if the Astros lose tonight, they just fall out of that category, because tonight, if they win this World Series, this starts a dynasty for them, and you don't know how. And they could go on. Even if they lose tonight, they could still win next year, whatever. But tonight is the start of a dynasty for them if they win. But if the Astros lose tonight, will this potentially cripple their dynasty forever? How will they rebound? There are a lot more questions for the Astros if they lose than for the Nationals if they lose, because this could stop the Nationals could stop a potential dynasty.
And
tonight.
Do you know what that a great comparison to that is the 2016 World Series when the Cubs won? Everyone thought it was the start of a dynasty, that the Cubs were about to just take off and start winning all these. And what happened?
How is that a comparison? No,
it's comparison because if they don't win tonight, that's going to be the same thing.
No, but Houston's already won one.
So did Chicago. They won one. I'm saying after they won one, everyone was on the Cubs hype train. They're about to be a dynasty. Right. There's so much talent they build around.
But at least Houston's gone back to LCS in the World Series.
That's true. Yes.
At least they've shown up.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that it's so many people predict the dynasties to happen like that, and then something just ruins it.
Even a Red Sox last year.
Right. That's
double play turned by Zach Greinke. I want to make a quick point going back to what Andrew was saying about the Astros' performance just being utterly pathetic, just an atrocity.
In the Robbie Cruz voice, of course.
I want to reiterate a point that he was making. Look, here's how it is, folks. A lot of you guys have said that the Astros were not pathetic, and if you're saying that, then you're just flat out wrong, and it's simple. Look, at the end of the day, the Yankees should have won the ALCS. They had the better numbers than the Astros did. The Astros hit, I think, 172 in that series, and in this series, they've hit even worse. So if you have all these just atrocious performances, how can they not be pathetic? Are you okay? I don't have the stats listed off the top of my head, but you cannot tell me that certain hitters in this lineup are that bad. Okay, I'm gonna pull up the stats right now, really quickly. Actually,
sure, absolutely, yeah. Asdrubal Cabrera, an interesting acquisition this year. It feels like this is a guy who's been acquired at the deadline like 7 different times in his career. Am I alone in thinking that?
Twice by the Nationals.
Twice by the Nationals, too. The first time from the Indians, and this time from the Rangers.
Back to my point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is Carlos Correa a 174 hitter?
What do you mean, is he? He is right now.
No, I'm saying, though, do you expect him to perform better?
Absolutely no.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Do you expect Josh Reddick to hit 167?
I don't expect much out of Josh
Do you
Reddick,
expect Alex Bregman to hit 231? Do you expect these things, folks?
The Yankee series or this series?
No,
This series.
like this series. So that's just going back to the point that I'm making. Also, did you expect Garrett Cole to get lit up like that in Game 1? No, you don't expect that. It's little things like that that just reiterates why this has been a pathetic performance from the Houston Astros. If you're Garrett Cole, you had to win Game 1. If you're Carlos Correa, you can't be hitting below 200. If you're Josh Reddick, you have to be hitting at least 250.
Okay.
Come on now,
to be
brother.
Fair, okay. I don't think it's fair at all to say it's Garrett Cole's
No,
fault.
no,
for
no.
losing
I'm not
Game
saying
1.
it's his
Garrett
fault.
Cole went almost seven
no.
straight months without losing a game.
No,
it's the
you're missing.
offense.
No, you're missing the point.
I know.
Point
I'm
is that,
saying.
No, my
yes,
point
they've
is
been
that.
pathetic.
My point is that it's pathetic when you have this high of an expectation and when you fall to the level that you perform.
Yeah.
I'm not questioning Garrett Cole's talent. That brother can play. But I'm questioning his ability to produce. That guy could not produce to save his life in Game 1.
Game 5.
You know what? We're going to ignore Game 5. Game 1, that brother could not produce.
No, but in Game 5 he utterly dominated and was still throwing 100 in the
I'm
7th
saying
inning.
he had one blip. He lost one
he had
game,
one blip,
and he was right back
since
to where
May
he was.
22nd. He had one blip, and it happened to be Game 1 of the World Series. And just like Hinch said after Game 1, you dominate for that long, and then the notion becomes you're invincible, you're unbeatable. When in reality you're not. You had one blip, but then he dominated in Game 5.
Look, Garrett Cole is just an example that I was throwing out there. But also, how about we go back to that Houston Astros bullpen? Ryan Presley hasn't been that great either. And I remember when I said that this was Yankee season, and one of my big weaknesses with the Astros was I said it's their bullpen. And you were saying Ryan Presley, Josh James, Roberto Ozuna, and now you look like clowns because they've been pathetic.
Hey, you know who hasn't been pathetic? All right, you know who hasn't been pathetic, though? And a quick shout-out to this guy real quick. Joe Smith, probably the most consistently average reliever of the past decade. Do you know that man has been a, quote, good reliever for 10 straight years? He's never had an ERA above 4 in 10 straight seasons. The man's one of the most consistent, and he's been good this year as well.
Yeah, he's
There's a shout-out to my man Joe Smith.
Joe Smith is a solid reliever, but I think you guys are missing the point I'm trying to make.
Yes,
as to
no,
why
I hear
the
the point. You think
pathetic.
people aren't producing.
Yes, people have not been producing. The talent's still there. As I said, I'm not questioning the talent. I'm questioning your ability to produce. You got to step up, produce, and help your team win. And quite frankly, Alex Bregman, despite Game 6, has not helped his team win that many games. Game 4. I'm sorry. Go back to Carlos Correa. Has Carlos Correa really helped the Astros win a single game in this series? A few weeks ago, Andrew, you were saying, "Oh my gosh, this brother would be the number 3 hitter on many teams right now."
Carlos Correa? I
Yes.
never said that.
Yes, you did.
I never said that.
I did.
Oh, it was you, James. I knew it was one of you guys that said that, but you guys are missing the point. Okay, well,
No,
you guys are. So
understand.
that's the point that I'm trying to make here, folks.
Well, you know what? I think it's a good place to take a quick commercial break here, as we are also on commercial break for the World Series. So we'll leave you with that. We will be back after a quick break here to discuss more World Series baseball and keep you updated with the World Series Game 7 feed. Be back in a bit. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Nation's Pastime in the nation's capital. I'm your host, Andrew Snaith, here with my co-hosts, James Higgins and Robbie Cruz. And while we were on break, you heard it live there on the radio feed. Yuli Gurriel with a solo home run to make this 1-0 Houston here in the bottom of the second. Yordan Alvarez following that up with a base hit off Scherzer, who now seems to be in some trouble. So with that said, let me go ahead and ask you, James, because you talked about it earlier, what do we think the leash is looking tonight for Max Scherzer?
4 or 5 innings.
4 or 5
I
innings?
don't think he's going to be able to go super deep, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think
That was the biggest thing that concerned me going into the game was his ability to give the Nationals length tonight.
I think it's a definite concern now, seeing that he's getting a little bit more trouble. 24 pitches through the bottom of the second is not absolutely terrible, but what do you think?
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Max Scherzer has gotten himself in trouble many times in the postseason, but he's the kind of guy that's going to really step it up when he has to. So I believe in Max Scherzer's ability to come up through and make some big pitches. I expect Max Scherzer to get better as the game progresses on. I don't know if I'm going to be as tough on him as James is. I'm going to say that Max Scherzer is going to be able to throw 6 innings. I'm going to say he gives up 3 runs in 6 innings.
Okay.
And at the end of the 6 innings, it's going to be 3-1 Houston Astros. But going back to Max Scherzer, I think he's going to be just fine. I think that he's got He's obviously got to make the good. He's got to be better with his locations because that pitch to Gurriel was right down the middle. I mean, you can't have that.
Can't be doing that in World Series Game 7, no. So he did get I believe it was a cortisone shot, which allowed him to pitch today. So I don't know. Like we said earlier, there were some doubts on if he would be absolutely ready to go. But, World Series Game 7, there's another hit for Carlos Correa. It's going to be first and second now. Still nobody out. And this is exactly what you want to see if you're the Houston Astros team who has been struggling immensely with hitting this entire series.
Now, I know you guys aren't going to like this next thing that I'm about to say. Wait, were you going to say something, James?
Get Corbin up now.
Yes.
I'm serious. Get Corbin up now.
Yeah. Wow.
You can't risk it. No, you can't risk it.
You can't risk it.
You can't.
This is it.
This is the biggest game in the Washington Nationals franchise history.
It's also the end of the season. Like, it's also the last game
it's
of the
everything.
season.
I'm just saying.
It's everything. It's everything.
This is everything.
And how do you know that Patrick Corbin's going to be lights out?
Why?
We don't
know that.
Exactly. We
Nobody
don't know
knows that.
Exactly.
Nobody knows anything.
But here's
Nobody knows anything in life.
I am.
We are not God.
I am more confident. In Max Scherzer than I'm in Patrick Corbin.
All right. Well, that's a fantastic
Robinson
bunt by Robinson Chirinos, who pops it up to Yan Gomes. That was a absolutely terrible bunt. Why are they bunting there? To avoid the double play, I guess?
Yeah.
Robinson Chirinos has been the second coming of Reggie Jackson for a few games for Houston. I don't know why he bunted there.
Yeah, no, I don't know
like
either.
A genius if you were
it's because they're bunting. They're bunting for the run. They know how much each run in the postseason matters.
Yes, no, and I agree with that. But why would you get a guy who I would assume is not exactly an experienced bunter in Chirinos? I mean, I just let him swing away.
I would have bunted.
Said second coming of Reggie Jackson, let him swing away. I mean, you know what? But whatever, that makes sense. He's a slow runner. Could have easily grounded a double play. So it's up to Josh Reddick now to see if he can drive home the two from first and second. And I don't know. Not looking good for Max Scherzer right now.
Do you think that? No. There's one thing that I always bring up that you guys cannot absolutely stand, but I've reiterated this a few times on the show, and that's: do you think that they see Max Scherzer tipping pitches in any way?
No,
I know you guys are going to say no,
it's
I'm
an irrelevant topic.
It's the Houston Astros. They always figure something out.
All right, Reddick, ground out the first. So it will act as a way to advance the runner, so 2 outs. And I believe that turns the lineup
George Springer.
over.
George
He
Springer's
does turn
up.
the lineup over.
James, how nervous are you feeling? George Springer's up right now.
Yeah, he's your guy right now.
Walk him and face Altuve.
You would rather do that,
James
though?
wants to walk him and face Jose Altuve. Wow.
You know what? Honestly, I don't know if I disagree with that.
Yes, I understand Altuve's hitting .315 in the series, but Altuve only has 1 RBI and doesn't have a home run.
Well, you'd rather
Springer's
give up
done
the
so
hit
much damage.
and then give up a 3-run homer. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they're going to pitch. I don't think they're not going to intentionally walk him. They're going to pitch around him.
If he gets a pitch to hit, let's just say this: it's not going to be on purpose.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll see what George Springer can do here now. As we said, an absolutely stellar postseason so far. In the World Series alone, .333, 2 home runs, driven in 4, I believe that was. An absolute clutch hitter if we've ever seen one in the postseason. The 5 home runs in 2017. He hit, I believe it was 6 straight games, World Series games with a home run.
It was 6 straight.
Record.
Oh, was it 5?
5 straight with a home run was the record, I believe, or did that tie the record?
He set the record with 5.
He did set the record. That's correct, yes. So it's absolutely stellar.
Springer just took that first pitch change of missing low. Max Scherzer looks pretty zoned in right now. About to deliver a second pitch of the at-bat, which will be another. It's going to be a fastball low in the.
They're pitching around him. They're pitching.
No,
around.
they are,
have to.
and I don't know why you would do anything other than that, especially in a situation like James said. You do have a guy behind you who's hitting .315 in the postseason, but at the same time, you don't want to give up the 3-run home run here.
Now, if I'm Max Scherzer, what I'm not okay, now if it gets a 3-0 at that point, I'm just walking. I would maybe try to sneak a strike in here. I don't know about you guys. I mean, would you not throw a strike here?
I don't know. I feel like that's a little
very risky. Very risky.
Yeah,
Nobody's up in the Nationals bullpen yet.
Yeah,
and then the 2-0 to Springer.
And you don't want this to be 4-0.
He's going to go fastball away. Yep, slider in. Ball 3.
Yeah, you were
not
right.
good.
Not getting a pitch to see.
No.
There you go. Highest career
no.
OPS in World Series history. George Springer with 1380.
Okay,
My goodness.
This goes back to James's point when he asked you, is George Springer a top 5 World Series hitter
yeah,
of all
I said
time?
he is. Yeah, I never said he wasn't.
David Ortiz and Reggie Jackson were the other 2.
Yeah. So that
and they were on the list.
Look at this: 72-18 when scoring first in the regular season, and 9-3 in the postseason. Clearly not a good look for the Houston.
Let's remember that the away team.
Oh
my goodness!
Oh, Juan Soto, what?
Yeah. Juan Soto with the diving catch. That's a shame. You good there?
Oh man.
Okay. All right. It's a little loud. We can not do that. Thank you. Great catch by the 21-year-old now, Juan Soto. So that will end the inning. Gurriel, though, with that fantastic home run. We were talking during the break. Gurriel, 35 years old, signed a 6-year, something like $30 million deal.
4-year deal.
What a fantastic deal that turned out to be for the Houston Astros. The man has just done nothing but produce, and like we say, he's been a fine fielder too. He's played multiple positions during his time in Houston. Very good pickup, very team-friendly deal. Some great job by the scouting department there to find a guy like Yurley Gurriel.
Yeah, and he's the kind of guy that's always came up clutch when the Houston Nationals have needed him. Obviously, let's go back to that home run against Clayton Kershaw on the Los Angeles Dodgers back in 2017. Just an incredible home run. The place lit up. It seems like that was the one game where his final score was, 14-13?
So here's the thing. It's funny you mentioned that.
13-12.
It's funny you mentioned that. So obviously no bias here because the Red Sox have won the World Series in the past year. Do you guys think there's been a better game than that game in the past?
Yesterday was the 2-year anniversary of it, and I think that's the best baseball game I've ever watched.
That is the best baseball game I've ever watched.
And that game is the reason why Alex Bregman became one of my favorite players and why I knew he would win an MVP someday.
Absolutely fantastic game. That one, and I also will say Game 7 of the 2016 World Series was a fun game.
I still think that this one was better, though.
I do, too, yes.
Okay. I'd say this game, and then I would not say Game 7 of 2016.
What would you say about that? The 17-inning one?
Dodgers, the 18-inning one?
18 inning?
Well, yes, that was even though the Sox lost, like it was a very good game, but Game 4 of the ALCS last year was a phenomenal game, and Game 7 2014, which everyone forgets about.
Everyone does forget
Madison
about
Bumgarner moment. It was
with
just
the save.
It was 5-inning save. It was a phenomenal game between the Giants at the end of their dynasty and the Royals right before they run their run of dominance. Two great teams. That was a phenomenal game and a phenomenal series. And then Game 6 of the 2011 World Series between the Rangers and the Cardinals.
Oh, my goodness.
David Freese tying it with the triple on Nelson Cruz's blunder.
With some help by Nelson Cruz.
Yeah, Josh Hamilton at the go-ahead home run in the 10th. Lance Berkman tied it.
R.I.P. Josh Hamilton today with that.
Not literally.
Great news.
No,
not literally, but R.I.P. his chance of ever being a public figure.
Freese hitting the walk-off in the bottom of the 11th. That was a phenomenal game.
Yeah, that one was tough to watch because 2011 I thought was going to be someone else's year. But you know what? It's okay. It's all right. We don't talk about it. That one, and also I will say game, oh my goodness, of 2000 and what was the David Wright home run game? 2015. That was 15. That was a very good game as well. I don't remember which game it was.
He had a home run?
Yeah, that home run that almost won them the World Series, but then didn't.
The Mets had no business.
The Harvey game, Game 5, the game that the Royals won the series.
Yeah.
That ninth inning was phenomenal.
That's what I'm saying.
Harvey was the man, but like they ended his career right there. That's where literally I have never seen an athlete go
fall off a
you
cliff.
Can never ever you can really usually never ever see the spot where an athlete just goes downhill, but that is the spot where Matt Harvey's career turned upside down, unfortunately, because he was the best pitcher to watch in the game when he was on. It was the best.
What a year that was for him too.
In 2013 was a phenomenal year where he started the All-Star game. That year was a phenomenal year, phenomenal postseason, and that was the start he was born for. And he through 8 innings, he was the best pitcher on the planet that night.
He really was.
And unfortunately, it didn't turn out well for him. Terry should have taken him out, or just pulled him right when
Terry Collins,
or right when Hosmer hit the double. Should have taken him out before Locaine hit the single. No, excuse me. When Locaine hit the double before Hosmer hit the single.
That was Salvador Perez was the MVP of that series, right?
Yeah, 375. But all I remember was Hosmer coming through when they needed him most.
And also the fantastic base running in that series.
Did Hosmer come through, or did Lucas Duda just make a really bad throw?
No, but like he had the clutch hit in the ninth. Like I think he had the walk-off sack fly in game 1. Like he was clutch. He had a lot of clutch hits in that series
and the
that
base running.
Season.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like sure you can say Duda's throw was the reason, but no, Hosmer put all the pressure on him in the world.
That's what I'm saying. That's all on Hosmer right there. That was a fantastic job by him. And you know what? Hey, it worked out for him because he got his money all right.
I was kind of bummed when he went to San Diego because I loved, like, in Kansas City, that was a fun team to watch with him and Moose.
And you know what else was so fun about the team was that was not a home run team at all.
Escobar.
They played small ball
Wade
so
Davis,
well.
Alex Gordon. That was a fun
Johnny
team.
Cueto when they got
him.
him.
To watch Cueto, Herrera.
Coach Haber that 1 year.
Oh, my goodness.
Giordano Ventura, R.I.P.
Those were some
Salvador Perez.
Duffy.
Fun.
Very fun teams. And you know what? It was a shame. It seemed like they all just dissipated within a matter of like a year or two. I mean, who was even left from that? I guess Alex Gordon's the only one left at this point besides Perez, right?
To be fair, though, I think everybody did expect that to happen sooner or later. Johnny Cueto was a free agent right after they acquired him.
And so was
the Royals
Zobrist,
have no business whatsoever bringing people back because this team is broke.
After they won, they haven't made the playoffs. Like I expected them to at least make it in 16.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I
That's
would
what I'm saying.
agree.
They just fell off a cliff. But you know what? I have no problem with that because they did what they had to do. They
by
got
the
to
way,
the point
I
where
want
they're
to
about
go
to win
back
a
to
World
a point
Series.
that James Higgins made a few minutes ago. My man, James Higgins, when he said that he's never seen an athlete fall off the cliff like Matt Harvey. I can think of one athlete who fell off the cliff just like Matt Harvey. Not a baseball player, but it's a guy named Isaiah Thomas, your boy out there in Boston, James. Talking about falling off of a cliff. Woo!
Okay, this is a baseball podcast, but a degenerate hip issue is not falling off the cliff, son.
Okay, and getting thoracic outlet syndrome is not falling off the cliff. If not, if that's
Okay,
not the same thing.
so real question: if Zach Greinke goes 7-8 shutout innings tonight,
Does he win MVP? Is that what you're going to
no,
ask?
not MVP. I'm going to say, does that solidify him as the best midseason acquisition?
Ever?
No, not ever of 2019. Because I know they didn't make the playoffs, but Castellanos was looking
that's what
amazing.
I was going to say.
Yeah, ever. Yeah, okay. No, not
Yeah, I
ever.
was going to say, I mean,
No, but speaking of ever, though, is it Justin Verlander in 2017?
Yes.
Because I think it is,
well,
honestly.
Well, yeah, but he's not. He wasn't the July trade deadline.
No.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
but you get what I'm saying.
Yes,
like,
yes,
the
yes.
Not the waiver trade deadline. But yes.
This year, I would say Castellanos. Like, I mean, you could make the argument for Greinke after tonight, but
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. And and talk about it was definitely good for Castellanos says Springer is going to range over.
Robles is trash.
He really is. And okay, to be fair though, he's been getting rung up on some really bad calls this year. So, but no, the argument definitely can be made for Castellanos. If it didn't help the Cubs, it certainly helped him. I mean, I'm pretty sure that on a couple million that he's going to be getting from some team.
how about JD Martinez when he got traded to the Diamondbacks?
To the Diamondbacks and pretty much took them into the postseason. Remember the 4 home run game he had against the Dodgers? Absolutely fantastic. Yeah. So there were some good ones in 2017. He was in 2017 as well.
Yeah, we've seen
correct?
some pretty nice trade deadline acquisitions of this decade.
Which honestly brings it back to the discussion of should they have really made it one trade deadline, because we've seen so many great waiver deals happen after the deadline before. At first, I was not a fan of it. I did like this year, though, how the trade deadline day, July, it felt insanely busy, like right down to the last minute. I remember the Greinke news broke something like 2 minutes before the deadline. Like, it was insane,
Yeah, and it was... This deadline was mostly full of a lot of smoke, but no fire whatsoever in there.
Yeah, no Bumgarner, no Minor. A lot of guys like that were not traded.
We kept on hearing guys that the Yankees were possibly going to go out and acquire. Obviously, they didn't get anybody. We heard about Zach Greinke. We heard about Trevor Bauer. We heard about many names whatsoever, and obviously we got nothing out of it. Are you kidding me? Couldn't even get Max Scherzer. Couldn't even give up $30 freaking dollars.
Hey, you know what? While we're on a commercial break here, thoughts on the firing of Larry Rothschild? Very briefly.
I thought that was one of the best moves that the Yankees have made. If you guys were listening to us last year, if you're one of the original listeners, you will have remembered my rants about Larry Rothschild last year, how he took over in 2013, I believe it was, right after Dave Island was fired. Larry Rothschild has not made one pitcher better since joining the Yankees. Can you think of one?
Okay, better? I mean...
Yes.
As opposed to as they were before?
Yes.
Because I was going to say,
can you name one?
I think he was definitely instrumental in helping CeCe develop into a different pitcher.
One pitcher.
I'm going to say CeCe.
CeCe Sabathia
not better,
was a
but
consistent
adapting
all-star.
to his old age and loss of velocity. I think he played a big part in that. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not a fan of Larry Rothschild, and I don't think he's a very good pitching coach, but you got to give him credit for that.
How about, let's talk about what he did to Sonny Gray. How about we talk about what he did to A.J. Burnett?
I get what you're saying.
Nova.
I'm not saying he's a good pitching coach. I'm just saying I'm giving him that one. All right. Then briefly as well before this commercial break gets over here, because the news did break literally hours, I believe, maybe 8 hours or so after we got off air last week. Joe Girardi, officially manager of the Phillies, and today, of course, the news that the pitching coach is going to be Brian Price, former manager of the Cincinnati Reds. What do you think about that? I mean, I
like the hiring.
I think the hire is pretty good, yeah.
I like Joe Girardi as a manager. He's very well respected. I don't like how he took Jim Thome's number, but we will accept that to a side.
I think you mean Cody Ashe's number.
Cody Ashe's
the real legend to wear number 25
You know
in
what?
Philadelphia.
So, yes, I do like the hiring. I was blessed to see Joe Girardi manage for a pretty long time. I think that
from what I've heard, he's a guy who commands respect. He's not buddy with the guy. He's not like a guy who's good friends with the players. He's a guy who commands respect.
I would agree, but I do think that sometimes I did look at Joe Girardi's lineup and I was like,
no, it can't be any worse than Aaron
when
Boone
Robinson
stuff.
Cano hit 7th in 2009.
It was a good team, though. Well, with that said, we are back from the break now. Altuve up.
Touching on Girardi real quick, I think he's a phenomenal hire. He's going to command the respect from the guys. Harper's going to like playing for him. He's going to be finally playing for a real manager again. I think
what's wrong? Gabe Kapler wasn't a real manager.
I think that He does a very good job getting the most out of his players, does a very good job managing his bullpen when necessary, and I think he connects well with the young players despite some of the late reports out of it. Some of the reports out of his late time with the Yankees, and I think it's a very good hire for the Phillies, and they're on the up and up. Not saying they're going to make the playoffs in 2020, but they're on the up and up. They'll be there shortly.
Very astute observation from James here as we take a look now at Jose Altuve, who's swinging it here in the bottom of the third inning, still 1-0 Houston. Another very quick inning for Zach Greinke. We didn't even get to talk about it. He was that quick and efficient.
Greinke is on tonight, and the Nationals offense needs to wake up because they look like what they looked like in D.C. in games 3 through 5.
Yeah, I was going to say, they should start here at Minute Maid Park, start blasting the Baby Shark song or something to make it seem like a home or away game so that they can make it feel like a home game because no one can win at home this entire series. Which, by the way, it's crazy to think that we have never seen a World Series where the away team has won every game. I think
never
that's crazy.
seen a series in professional sports.
That's insane to me. That
I mean, what are the
history
odds
of
that
that's never happened.
This is the first time in professional sports that a road team has won all six.
Yes.
The first 6 games.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's
I mean,
amazing to me that it's
what are
taken
the
this
odds?
long.
That's the thing. Like, how
they're incredibly
it's
low. I mean,
ridiculously hard.
And that goes back to the argument: is home field advantage that important in baseball? I mean, I would argue there's another hit for Altuve. And you make the argument
that's just protect me swing.
It was
Please
a protect me swing.
I don't want to strike out. I'm willing to hit a weak ground ball to shortstop if I have to.
But it wasn't a bad pitch.
No, it was a good pitch. I'm saying the swing was bad. That was just protect me swing. Please don't. I don't want to strike out. It's that kind of a swing.
Yeah, on the off speed too. There, you
God
can tell
bless
he was
him,
pretty
but-
much fooled there. I mean, he's completely lunging over the plate with that.
All right, James. So, if Michael Brantley gets on base here, do you warm up Patrick Corbin?
Should have warmed him up last inning. Yes, you warm him up.
I don't know why he's not up already. Honestly, it's World Series Game 7.
Davey is still having heart issues from last night.
Oh yeah, okay. From getting
the
a little
ejection.
excited there and getting ejected.
Rah.
The first ever manager to be ejected in a World Series game and have their team win it too. So there you go. In the record books, Dave Martinez.
Michael Brantley steps up to the plate. Brantley walked in his first at bat. He's hitting .333 this World Series. He's been absolutely incredible. Talk about an offseason acquisition.
Talk about an offseason acquisition.
That was the best offseason acquisition, I think.
DJ LeMahieu though.
DJ LeMahieu. No. I'm very passionate about this one. The best offseason acquisition was one that nobody was talking about.
Is it not DJ LeMahieu?
It's
Michael Brantley. Michael Brantley. He for $15 million a year, he's a bargain.
A much better bargain.
Are you talking about pitcher?
No. I'll give you a hint. Here, I'll give you a hint, okay? Plays for the Yankees.
Gio
it's going to be Gio
Urshela.
No, it was Michael Brantley. Michael Brantley was the biggest steal and the biggest bargain of the offseason for $15 million, hitting .330 in the middle of that order, solidifying that lineup, started the All-Star game.
What the heck is Josh Reddick wearing right now, by the way?
The police cap.
That's police cap. Urshela being a batting title contender after getting the league minimum after getting traded for basically a bag of chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah.
I think the Indians enjoyed those chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, I think they really did,
My point is, look, the Yankees got him for absolutely nothing, and he ended up being one of the best hitters in their lineup. He was also terrific defensively. When Miguel Andujar was out for the season, I started to get a little bit nervous. Andrew, if you remember at the beginning of this year, I ranted to you in your dorm because I was incredibly upset.
Very upset about...
And then a little spark came into the season. God sent a little blessing into the season, and that man's name was Gio Urshela. Best offseason acquisition, best bargain whatsoever.
Yeah,
if you disagree with me, you're a clown. Cue that music.
So going back to Michael Brantley, fantastic offseason acquisition, and something that I think is awesome to look at is at the winter meetings. I remember Matt Klentek saying after he announced the Andrew McCutchen signing that it was down to the wire in the front office between Michael Brantley and Andrew McCutchen for the next left fielder of the Phillies for the next 3 years. And they chose Andrew McCutchen because of his health. And you know what? Like right now, could you imagine the difference between the 2 seasons if those players flip-flop? Because those are 2 players I feel like that were on the radar of both teams. And you know what? He also said in that front office, it was pretty much tight between those 2. Like it was not a clear-cut choice for Andrew McCutchen. So very interesting to see there that Michael Brantley was able to stay healthy, and I just think this just proves even more when he stays healthy what he is capable of. We saw so many flashes of greatness that he had while he was in Cleveland. He just could not stay healthy. He was healthy for a full season this year, and I think he showed the world why he is one of the greatest hitters in the NL or in the AL. I'm sorry.
Alex Bregman's up 1-0 in the count. Run on first base, 1 out. Max Scherzer looks pretty zoned in as he always is. He's got that scruffy little beard coming on in, hangling and dangling that right arm of his. You know what? We're about to see what happens next. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Max Scherzer to Bregman, and that's a fastball just a hair outside. Now, a lot of pitches are starting to get thrown by Max Scherzer, James.
42 in the bottom of the third, and yet we still do not see someone up in the Nationals bullpen.
And not only that, the Astro hitters have looked pretty good against Max Scherzer so far. We've seen a lot of line drives.
Even in Game 1 when they lost, remember, he was at almost 100 pitches between 5 innings. After 5 innings.
James is looking a little bit nervous right now.
Yeah. Did anything that I said made you think that Scherzer was going to go out there and shove like his normal self tonight?
No, I was just looking at you because you looked a little bit nervous.
So Bregman up 3-0 in the count here, 1 out. With Jose Altuve at first, you got to be careful with the Nationals here because it doesn't get out of hand in a hurry.
One thing I will say, though, is when it comes to our favorite sport team losing, it touches us in the heart. It's incredibly difficult to accept a loss. I can't imagine how James would feel if the Nationals lost tonight. I know how it felt after the Yankees lost against the Astros. I know Andrew felt that same way when the Phillies got eliminated about 3/4 of the way in.
Thank you.
I would feel significantly worse if it was the Red Sox, but yes, this will still definitely hurt. The Nationals are more than just a second team to me.
That's fair.
That's the point. So, many of you folks have told me in the past, look, it's just a game. When it comes to sports, it's a depression.
It's a life. It's a lifestyle.
Look, I cannot tell you how many times I have cried over the Yankees losing. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard my sweet mate, Andrew Snaith, who's right next to me, yell and throw stuff at the wall because of his favorite sport teams.
Yes.
Even when it's not his favorite sport team, whenever he's rooting for somebody, it touches us to the heart. And if you're a true baseball fan, you will feel the same way.
And something about baseball, I will say more than anything else, makes you feel connected to the players.
Well, yeah,
I don't know if
it's you're in and out for 6 months.
I don't know if it's the 162 players or if it's also the whole fact that there's 162 games, or it's the fact that you're watching them day in and day out, and the series is so long. It's essentially from February to November if you fought all the way through. But just something about baseball more than any other sport just consumes your life.
Only time I cried over a sports game was when both times the Patriots lost the Giants in the Super Bowl. Haven't cried before, haven't cried since. But
to the Giants, wow. You didn't cry when the Eagles took it home?
No, I was 18 years old.
And?
I was 18 years old.
And
what do you mean? I was there. I accepted the loss. I wasn't a little kid anymore. Like, it still touches you, but it touches you in a different way.
It does touch you in a different way. That's very true. Instead of crying, we just throw things.
No, I just kind of walked out of the stadium and.
Oh, you were there. That's
right.
There. You were there. You know what? I would not have given to be in your shoes for that game. That was probably one of the greatest games of Philadelphia sports history. But you know what? That's all right because we suck this year. But
and here comes Gurriel.
Gurriel now with did Bregman get on base?
He walked.
Yes. Gurriel with the home run last inning. See if he can do some more damage here.
This is the at-bat of the game, probably.
This might be the at-bat that decides the game.
If he comes up with the big hit right here and the Astros win the series, or win this game, does he win MVP?
For the Astros? He might just do it, honestly, because I don't think there's a clear-cut favorite for the Astros right now, unless it be like a pitching performance one. So honestly, or like you said, if Garrett Cole comes in, say this stays like a 1-0 or 2-0 game, and Garrett Cole comes in and gets the save for like 4 or 5 innings, like I don't know how you can't give it to Garrett Cole then. But yeah, if he does something here and it puts it out of reach, why not? Give it to Gurriel. So you know what? I think we'll finish up this inning here, see what happens with the Houston Astros with 2 on and 1 out, and then we will go ahead and end the show here, so we can all go ahead and enjoy
a great baseball season.
7. It has been an absolutely fantastic baseball season.
Stick with us for the off season. We'll have weekly updates.
Please do.
Weekly analysis, weekly breakdowns.
Yes.
No baseball till March 26th.
No baseball till March 26th. But to get your baseball fix, stay tuned here at Nation's Pastime in the nation's capital, because every single Wednesday, 8 to 9, we will still be having some great baseball content. We have a lot of cool stuff planned. Not only are we going to be talking about off-season acquisitions, giving out awards, stuff like that, we got a lot of cool stuff we can talk about with the history of the game, kind of looking back on some of the most memorable parts of the game, some trivia, maybe a lot of fans don't know out there. It's going to be a good time, so make sure you stick with us through the off-season. We'll get you through until we get to spring training in February.
That's the plan.
Absolutely.
I don't like spring training.
You don't like spring training?
I don't like spring training. Hope springs eternal, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter till the regular season.
But you get to see baseball being played.
I know.
And that's beautiful
I
winter.
know, but like it's not the same.
It's not the same, and it doesn't matter, but it's at least beautiful. And for me, it's an excuse to go to Florida in the middle of winter every year, which is fantastic. So, look, I like spring training just for that reason. That's going to look like a fly out to right field for Gurriel. I don't think they're going to test Adam Eaton here. No, not worth it. Not worth it with the shallow fly ball. So it will be up to...
You're done.
You're done, yes. I drew a blank there for a
missile
second.
single in his last at bat.
He did. Talk about a guy who's also turned around this World Series, who was absolutely abysmal through the ALDS and the ALCS. Really putting together a solid World Series so far. And hard to forget that this guy is 22, I believe, right? 22 years old?
22 years old, acquired for Josh Fields from Los Angeles Dodgers.
Oh,
Los
man.
Angeles Dodgers, you loafed.
Talk about a little bit of a lopsided trade there. Yeah, 467 in the World
with the
Series
home
so
run.
far. Honestly, if he comes up with a big hit here, I could see it giving over Alvarez. You don't think so? 467 in this World Series?
I know, but he didn't play in 2 games, so like the at-bats are...
That's true. He didn't play in 2 games.
And he didn't
which I
even
did
play the
forget,
full
but-
game 5. I'd still give it to Springer or Bregman.
Or depending on Greinke
Or
and
Altuve.
Cole and all them. I mean.
Or Altuve, he's got the second most hits in World Series history.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it based
Postseason.
on the vote? Is it honestly based on the vote? It
No,
helps, right?
yeah,
That's what I thought.
It's a panel of writers.
It's a panel of writers. Right. Because I always know I see the vote thing. I never really understood if that was the whole thing, but it narrows it down enough to make the decision.
So the number 6 hitter in the
obvious.
lineup for the Houston Astros, Jordan Alvarez, steps out with Max Scherzer's pitch count exactly at 50. First
the
pitch of the
bottom
at-bat is I'm going to say that's a cutter.
Let's cutter.
No,
91.
91 mile an hour cutter is
Definitely not
fouled
a
back.
fastball. Cutter. I don't know. You know what? Still perplexing me that not a single person is up in the pen yet. I mean, look, 51 pitches in the bottom of the third. I don't care if it's only 1-0. You can't be screwing around here. You got to make sure that you stay in this game no matter what. If you give up a hit here, you got to make sure you stay in it, because if it's a one-run game, anything can happen. We've seen that throughout this entire series. So let's see what Alvarez can do, though.
Fouled off.
He is
96 mile an hour fastball. Whew,
right
he's
on
right
that
on
pitch.
that.
Right on that
I mean,
pitch. Just missed it.
I mean, if fastball right down the middle, you better be on it, honestly.
96 from Scherzer. They're not showing any signs of fatigue so far. Definitely hitting up in the higher 90s like he normally does.
Yeah, but he doesn't have his A stuff. He has his
No,
C
he does
stuff like he
not.
did in Game
He
1.
does
He's
not
going to
have
be
his A
laboring
stuff.
through it.
Yeah.
You really think that this is C stuff?
He doesn't have swing and miss stuff.
Look, his C stuff is still better than most people's A stuff.
Yeah,
so,
that's
yeah.
what I'm saying.
I guess that was the mindset that the Nats went with when deciding to start him still, which makes sense.
I still would have gone with Patrick Corbin.
I
but
would
that's
have
just
as
me.
well, yes. That's up and in.
Alvarez takes that fastball high and inside. Alvarez, as we said earlier, is hitting .462 in this World Series. Absolutely atrocious against the Yankees in the ALCS.
And then the ALDS as well.
In the ALDS, he was hitting .038 at one point. It was just an atrocity for his batting average. It was just ridiculous. And honestly, I really enjoyed it as a Yankee fan. It was nice being able to not have to worry about an at-bat because he was a free out up there. And Jordan, I know that you're going to hate me saying this, but you were pretty bad in that series, and you know so yourself. But
Oh, is he listening?
I'm sure he is.
Oh, I'm sure he will be listening.
Alvarez takes that slider downstairs. The count is now 2-2. Scherzer already at 54 pitches, about to throw his 55th. Now, what would you say? Now, we all agreed that sooner or later you're going to have to take him out, but it's just a matter of when, though? I mean, if he gets a base hit here, you got to warn Patrick Corbin sooner or later. Patrick Corbin's he's probably going to be the first guy out of the bullpen, and
Look,
we'll see.
nobody is. Oh, my.
Oh, no.
Oh, just missed it.
Hey.
Just
Wow.
missed it.
Warning
Whoa.
track flyout for Jordan Alvarez. He took a 96-mile-an-hour fastball up in the zone and absolutely crushed it to center. Not enough, though. So that will end the inning. 1-0 Astros as we go to the fourth. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic Game 7. We will be back next Wednesday at 8 p.m., or a little after 8 to a little after 9. You know the normal stuff we have here. And we will be breaking down this game. We'll be talking about all of the great stuff that comes with the offseason. We'll be talking about handing out awards and stuff like that. All that fantastic stuff. So make sure you tune in again next week. Follow our Twitter at @PastimeCap. The shows are posted there if you miss any, and there's other show updates. And we will see you guys next week for the first off-season show of the season here on Nation's Pastime and Nation's Capital. I've been your host, Andrew Snaith, here with my co-hosts, Robbie Cruz and James Higgins. Have a fantastic night.
Peace out.